jump into it and talk a little bit about personal debt management. Why is this such an important conversation? I know that you're also about to gather a convening where we talk all things personal finances, but with a particular focus on personal debt management.
The world over, we are always talking about countries owing this, countries owing that. And we've seen also, even with countries that don't manage debt properly, what happens to them, right? So you can imagine for individuals who don't have economists working for them, accountants and lawyers working for them. So it's a serious topic that we need to embark on all the time. Because as a country, I think, Botswana, all of these products were introduced to us before we were educated about them. And the excitement was more on financial inclusion, to say financial institutions need to reach out. Nowadays, there's debt all over the place. I think the mobile networks have launched their debt products also. And I understand they've already done more than $1 billion in a short space of time. So there's high demand for debt, but also at the same time, we are not seeing the results of the debt when it comes to individuals at the personal level. They are not creating any form of wealth. We are not seeing structures or businesses that are being owned by individuals because of the debts that they have acquired. So it gets us really worried as financial advisors to say, look, there has to be a conversation around this topic. We need to engage further on this topic to ensure what Botswana by benefit from this product, which is a really good product, by the way. It's a really good product, but it needs to be understood, because those who use debt properly and leverage debt, they become wealthy. And those who fail, they get leveraged by those who extend debt to them. So you don't want to be on the other side, So that's really why we need to be having this conversation.
Okay, interesting stuff. I know, I learned a few years ago, there's good debt and there's bad debt. And I love the fact that you've spoken about the results of debt. You've also spoken about there are two ways that you could possibly assess does this debt work for me, right? A business structure, sustainable business structure, or some sort of wealth creation from your end as an individual. Which begs the question, well, what then are we using debt for in Botswana? Where are we making our mistakes?
So when we continue to conduct our research, we find that the most troublesome debts in this country are personal loans. They constitute about 70% of the total household debt in the country. But then when you look at, because a mortgage loan, we know that it's given against the property that you are buying, or a car loan is given against the car that you are buying. But it's only personal loan that normally we need to do research to find out where did the money go. So you find that most Botswana, when they acquire their first personal loan, when they start work, is to get a car. And in most instances, it's not a brand new car. It's a second-hand car, because when you start work, obviously you are not earning so much money, and most of these assets are quite expensive. So you can't go into a dealership and buy a brand new car. So they buy a second-hand car. It's not an insured car. They get into an accident because they are young, they are energetic, they are running around. They lose that car either through an accident or something happens to the car mechanically, and then they buy another one. So from there, they get used to the cycle of getting debt, right? Because as far as the bank is concerned, they still have provision to continue getting more debt. And then we find other instances where people buy debt with the advice that you can get debt and buy land to create some form of wealth, right? But the type of land that is being bought, people are just buying land all over the country. You're buying land at your home village, right? You've taken 100,000 to buy a piece of land for 60,000 in your home village. 40,000, maybe you use it for other personal things. But you realize after some years that land is still sitting there. It's still worth 60,000 or sometimes less, depending on the activities in that village. So after so many years, you find that people now are sitting on 400, 500,000 a level of debt, and at that point they don't have any asset that is actually generating income for them. Because when we talk about good or bad debt, right, we are not talking about the things that you are acquiring. We are talking about whether the debt is able to repay itself. If it's not repaying itself, it's bad debt. It doesn't matter what you did with it, whether you bought a house or you started a business, it doesn't matter. If it can't repay itself, it's bad debt, right? But sometimes we always categorize good and bad debt, like good debt will be buying a house and bad debt will be, you can buy a house and it's a bad debt. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. I was just about to jump in here and ask this question because as you are describing, I'm understanding one of it. I think I don't know if it's because but I'm realizing that the more we grow up, there's this deep, I only know the word angst, but it's more of and how much do you earn? You have this moment of reflecting where you are financially, and then when you are doing so, there's emotions that you are feeling at the same time, because I think you are realizing the way your salary is structured, the goals that you have, they take a backseat because there's the responsibilities but then also you realize the potential to grow financially, and we have already made all sorts of mistakes financially. It might help you to grow forward. So I want you to jump in and explain here, but the part of emotions when it comes to realizing the faults in your financial management, kind of what you can be able to do when you are asked to what would you say is the relationship between that reality, what are we supposed to do with the emotions that we are feeling concerning any question related to where we stand financially?
Emotions drive everything, right? Whether you want to go to school, whether you want to start work or have a family, it's all driven by emotions. And people who don't understand their emotions or who have not identified the type of personalities that they have, they always struggle with money. Because money will go towards the things that you are again, if you are a generous person, you'll find for a weekend with red parties. You be batho na man we planning to go ya go tsa kgwedi yotlhe wa go hetsa ka weekend because friends are there, right? Mo gongwe ke maikuto a di void ke batla go dumela gore mongwe le mongwe go na le void e leng gore they are trying to fill as you grow up. It's either ile kganya gore go mo batla go tsena sekolo thata because you feel gore ga gona go tsena sekolo go tswa nteng, right? You are going to spend a lot of money on education, and you can get into serious debt ka education, right? But ba bangwe ke le tshoga la health gore kwa tswang teng batho ba lwala, so motho a teng o batla go nna extra health, and then they spend a lot of money on that to an extent e leng gore ba kgona hela ba itsentse mo dikoloto. So when you look at these things, it might look like these are good things, right? But at the end of the day, you see the hela ntho tse mathateng again. But what I'm telling you, they are obsessed with cars, and the reason why they are obsessed with cars is because they grew up without a car. That's why I'm telling you that thing is and the cool it's a bit. Motho ba tlo shipinetsa ya boraro gore me nna le nose a rekile koloi tse tharo wa bona le ha isenyegile, they won't even sell it to a scrapyard. They want it there nna ile teng ya ba e bona wa bona, because it's a void e leng gore bana le yone. So if we don't identify these emotions and then our bata tsela ya gore re ka leka, because again when you know your emotions, you will feel the triggers when they come. Again, you will avoid certain things, right? Personally, there are certain areas that I like to avoid. I don't like going to shopping malls a lot, right? Because so I can get a good shopping. I know what is going to happen. So those are my triggers, right? Much as I'm a financial planner and I can talk about budgets and creating a budget, I know what emotions will override all of those things at any point in time. So it's very important for us to understand these emotions, because they can help us to get away from this other thing saying or
most Western people are aware of their credit score. It's a thing that they use every single day. I know it's there in Botswana, but I don't know to what extent. Maybe just to highlight what is the role? What is the role of credit score generally in life? Yeah, I know you can use it in conversations of racism, go America, but how does it really apply to what the life that we have?
In 2 minutes.
So credit score mo Botswana, it's not really used, but there's a credit worthiness report so it's not like a score like in other countries like South Africa. You can actually know where your score is 800, right? We you'll be listed over ITC. I get super credit worthiness. But otherwise, you find someone conducted as long as ITC, they can go and get a loan anywhere. That's why you find there's a cycle. From this bank to another bank. By the time it's 20 years, they have moved loans all around. But if you go to countries where credit scores are used, allow your score to get to a certain point. And the scoring, if you take score say let's say furniture, do you pay late? Do you pay on time? It keeps on scoring you, right? If it scores you down. So I will achieve scores is good for all of the things. Are you capable of paying, right? But Mobotswana I say anything. I think I can introduce you. Botswana are going to struggle. Yeah, Botswana are going to struggle.
Dr. S, we've got to let you go. Somebody's listening, they want to know where they reach you, and also if you've got any other opportunities where they can get this insight directly in person, please feel free to share.
Yes, thank you so much. So we you can always follow us on Mashele, and we put up a lot of content there and what it's financially related. So if you want to know anything that we do, you can go there. And then also we have an opportunity next month on the 25th of October. We have a summit coming up. It's a National Personal Finance Summit. We are basically bringing together all stakeholders in the finance industry, regulators, bankers, fund managers, even government to come and say. And the theme for this year it's debt management and debt leveraging, to come and say, look, how can we help our people to understand this debt thing? How can they leverage it? What are the opportunities? Where are the opportunities? So that is the engagement that we'll be having. So if you want to know more about that, you can always go on our page. Our ads are there to follow the latest on that.
We're counting down days till the National Personal Finance Summit. Make sure you don't miss out on this opportunity to be part of history in the making. Click the link below to reserve your tickets now. National Personal Finance Summit. Brought to you by Ignite Well. Ensure your tomorrow.